CBS 6 continues to track developing news right now. A rolling shootout between two cars in Schenectady. It's a story you saw first on air and online from CBS 6. This all happening right near Mont Pleasant Middle School with hundreds of kids inside. 9 schools in the area were all put on lockout for several hours. Let's give you a closer look right now. Here's your map to show you where this all happened. The neighborhood investigators say it happened right there. They say 2 cars exchanged gunshots while driving down Craig Street over I-890 and into Mont Pleasant. 2 21-year-olds were hit with bullets. We don't have their conditions right now. Team coverage of this still developing story. We'll go first to Jennifer Lukey, who is live on Craig Street. Jen.
Well, Greg, to put that map into perspective, I'm standing right where the shootout happened. We got here just a few minutes after it, and if you look down there where that playground is, that's about where the shootout happened, according to witnesses and police. The 2 cars then drove right through here, down through this intersection, around all these homes, across that bridge, and in the distance you can see Mont Pleasant Middle School. And the shooting continued to that point at least. Actually, investigators aren't sure where it stopped, but they do know that there were 2 cars involved, and a short time after this, 2 separate people came into Ellis Hospital with gunshot wounds. So right now they're victims. They could also be suspects. The cars have not been located yet, but this was in the middle of the day in broad daylight. 2 cars shooting at each other, and neighbors around here, for obvious reasons, are scared. They think this situation was just out of control.
We were in the house. We heard the gunshot and came running to the door, and the cars were going across the hill, just shooting at each other. You hear the cars screeching out here. They were going really fast, and you hear that, and then you know, just insane. Every day it's something.
Now, when we got here to the scene just a little after 12:30, this whole street behind me, we saw several shell casings. Police aren't sure how many shots were fired. Luckily, no one else was hurt. We do know, again, those 2 21-year-olds went themselves either in the car or walked in. We're unclear about that at this point. Walked into Ellis. They are now in Albany Med. Investigators are hoping to speak with them to see what happened here. For now, live in Schenectady, Jennifer Lukey, CBS 6 News.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. As we mentioned, this gunfight forced 9 schools in the Hamilton Hill and Mont Pleasant area to be put on lockout. Students could leave under supervision, but no one could get in. Those safety precautions were lifted around 2:20 this afternoon. The good news is no students were hurt. Tori Wells is following that angle of this developing story for us, and she joins us live. Tori, I know parents say it took some time before they really found out exactly what was going on.
That's right, Greg. When some parents came to pick up their kids, they said they didn't know that this happened. First, though, I want to give you a little perspective of where we are. This is Pleasant Valley Elementary School. Where I'm standing is just on the other side of the bridge from where Jen was standing at that scene. Now, the school says that it did send home a letter with students. This is a copy that a parent gave me. This was sent home with his son. It explains that there was a lockout here and why, basically saying that people could leave the school, but they could not come inside. The district says it did not do an all-district call on this because kids were safe at all times, and this wasn't going to impact the end of the day. Now, when we arrived here right around dismissal, police still had shut down the bridge that was leading from the scene here to the school. The district says that individual schools may have called parents. For example, here at Pleasant Valley, parents were called because of that bridge closure. But not all parents I spoke with knew about the shooting until they got here. They told me that it makes them uneasy to know that violence happened so close to their child's school, but they're glad that precautions were taken. Now, at dismissal, I also met a member of a community group called Team Go. They told me they came here to help walk kids home and be present after this violence, a positive reaction, they say, to this shooting.
I started to cry because I was scared because of my son.
Nervous, like, as soon as I heard, I started running. There are 2 kids in here, like, ridiculous. This is right by the school. This is.
And right there, you did hear some parents reacting when they came to pick up their students. In just about 30 minutes, we're going to try to get that sound to you of that community group. It tells me that it responds to shootings like this, again, as a positive way to handle tough situations just like this. For now, we're live in Schenectady. Tori Wells, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Tori. We'll continue to follow this developing story both on air and online at CBS6Albany.com.